What's up? It's your boy Carcino here, and due to the recent health ailments of Barbara Bush, the former First Lady, wife to George Bush Sr., mother to George Bush Jr., who also was president, conversations were had. Where I'm at, my community is mostly Republican out here, so a lot of them was indulged in conversation. And some things were said a little bit yesterday and a lot today. And sometimes people say things to see how you're going to react to it. And that's a political tactic that a lot of people use as well to see how comfortable you are with certain things that are discussed, to see what kind of provisions should they put on their language. So when something was said, they wanted to kind of check my tone, my posture, things of this nature. So it is always the wise one to have the stone face. Never let them know what you're thinking. You that way you're able to get more out of them. And true, to form a discussion that came to the table about the history of George Bush and what happened during the, and for some reason, they love to assume that I was probably a child when this happened. You probably don't remember, or you probably was a kid or a baby when Eazy E, this rapper, he conned himself into meeting George Bush, the president, during the election. This is what they said. He conned the Republican Party so that he could meet the president of the United States for publicity. It embarrassed him, and that caused the war on rap, on gangster rap. And the Republicans went after gangster rap because of that. And that brought an interesting point because I'm hearing it from a right wing Republican. This is the story and the narrative they've been fed. So he thinks he's educating me. He don't really know me from Shinola. He just know I'm in an area where there's predominantly Republicans. So he's assuming that I must be into politics or I must be a Republican. And that's crazy. That they divulged, him and his group divulged and laid out everything on the foundation of what was going on at that time, which I will now share to you, the general public, some of those details. Now, Jerry Heller and Easy E, and oh yeah, I was very aware of a lot of this, but Jerry, and we'll go through what really was the whole plot of what was happening during the time, because Jerry Heller, who happened to be the manager of Ruthless Records, him and Easy E was tight, all right, tight as can be. Took trips to Hawaii, business deals. They were partners in a lot of different ventures. Now, when it came to 1988, Ronald Reagan, and like 1989, as soon as George Bush Sr. was in office, Eazy E was making donations and Ruthless Records, but each side, Jerry and Eric Wright, they were making donations and contributions to the Republican Party every month. Them pay like $1,200 in the Republican Party and everything else to help out with their tax situations. So they would receive letters like "Thank you for your donation," and so Eric Wright, who's a businessman who owns a record company, that's all they see. They don't know what this record company is. They don't know what he looks like. This is way before the internet. So they're having this meeting where they're gonna meet up and talk to each other, and in the early year of February of '91, they're getting ready to meet up with people because the president's gonna come and visit the small group. You know, the Republican, what's that, senatorial inner circle. That's what they called. And the president is going to come there so they can meet and salute the commander in chief. So on March 16th, he was coming to town. And this is when Eazy lived in Chattanooga Park. And that's in California, a very high end area. And everybody in that area is basically Republicans. They have no idea they're talking to the rapper Eazy E. So this is this has become a major problem because the war on gangster rap happened when Ice-T dropped Cop Killer the very next year, which was very interesting because when this happened, it got national attention. And it got so much attention. This ruined the relationship with the Republican Party with some of its candidates that were involved. This was an embarrassment that they had Eazy E, the godfather of gangster rap, coming to meet and take pictures and have dinner and eat with the President of the United States of America. Now, before you can meet the President, you must be vetted. So Eric Wright was vetted, but not thoroughly. They knew he was African American. They knew he was a record producer, owner. They looked at his net worth and said, invite this man. So Jerry Heller and Eazy E attended. There's a picture that Eazy E took shaking the hand of George H.W. Bush in 1991 at this dinner. That photograph has been scrubbed off of the internet. You will not find it. It has caused so much embarrassment in news media everywhere around the globe. And a lot of these guys believe this was partially the reason Bush didn't win re-election because of what this embarrassment did to the Republican Party. It caused a major division. It embarrassed the Republican Party that this gangster rapper conned himself into the White House for publicity. And it let down the Republican Party and split us up. And that's why George Clinton, Bill Clinton, won in 96. Now, that's their take on it. Here's what really happened. The Republican was looking for a token black guy who was successful, who was Republican, who could be invited in there because they had a bunch of white folks. Now, granted, it was a smart move on their part to do this and go in this direction, but they made a mistake because the people there knew Eric Wright was Easy E, and by this time they couldn't uninvite him. By the time the news found out about it, it was so much publicity and press, it was embarrassing. But he had a letter of invitation from Phil Graham, who was a former Texas, worked with almost every campaign that you knew, from the Nixon, the Reagans, to George Bush Sr. He was upset because he thought that he would be on the nomination, that he would be the guy to, win the bid to run for president of the United States of America. Like, he would be the guy to run for vice president you know, with Senior. With Junior, George Bush Jr. one day, but that wasn't going to happen. And so he wanted to make a presidential bid out of New Hampshire, and he was going to look for investors, people to back him. And Phil was one of the main guys to reach out to him because he was in charge of this inner circle from New Hampshire, California, want to get everybody together. So Bob Dole and Phil Graham both were trying to lobby, and then with this invitation and saying, well, I hope you guys, use your invitation, come to the, you know, let's do this, let's get together and come out and meet the president and salute to the commander in chief. That's what it was just called, the salute to the commander in chief. And when he accepted, they knew he's African American. So he was invited to be there. So when it was on NBC News, ABC News, they were embarrassed. And Bob Dole was one of the main people who were disgusted, and he the one that sent the letter. So they've exposed the president of the United States to a situation they did not want to be in. And it was going to cause them much chagrin. Now, other people that were supposed to show up, but eventually didn't show up because of Eazy E appearance, was Arnold Schwarzenegger, just as one person that was on the list. George Schultz, Estee Lauder, and a couple of others that were supposed to be on this list that didn't show or found the reason not to be there, and they blamed because Eazy E was there. Now, when this lunching was over, steps had to be taken to neutralize the Eric Wright situation. Now, we don't know what steps were taken, but allegedly neutralized the Eric Wright situation. I don't know what they mean by that, or what they meant by neutralize. Neutralize means take him out, or take out the situation, the story. So that you could use for your imagination. But there's a lot of people believe that the federal government had a lot to do with what happened to him due to this embarrassment. Because of this embarrassment, Bob Dole and Phil Graham kind of fell out of trust with the Republican Party for this expulsion to the president of the United States of America. And by them being senators, at the time, this did not sit well in the inner circle. So the House really had something to say about it. And Eazy E's name was talked about in Republican lore as you guys let a gangster rapper into the group. And Bob Dole's mail, they sent him a CD of Eazy E, and Phil Graham, they sent him a magazine and CDs of Eazy E. And they said, you let a guy who said F the police and to shake the hand of the President of the United States of America. You're a disgrace. So with threatened, with the fact that they're being threatened to lose their seats, they were out of the circle of trust with the President of the United States because of the Eazy E situation. So Quail decided that they needed a magic bullet, and with the song Cop Killer coming out, after the disgrace, after the Eazy E situation, they turned the attention from Eazy E to Ice-T, and then used that as the catalyst to try to censorship and ban, period. Mainly because it was affecting their households, and they didn't know how big it had gotten until Eazy E came out for the White House visit, and they saw all the white kids, the white Republican kids who were excited because Eric Eazy E Wright was coming to the White House. So there you have it. Now you can use your imagination and put words to where you believe they need to go or you think happened in the situation. But let's just say in 1996, our good friend Phil Graham did not make it. He lost the election. The Democrats lost, and they all blame Eazy E. Hey, look, you can't go out. You went out to hip hop. You had an idiot like Dan Quayle as vice president anyway. You guys went out to gangster rap. You mentioned in certain parts, you guys went after rap. Ronald Reagan, the guy who started Dare, you know, against drugs and things like that. Old Ron was one of the people that sat back while drugs was being flooded in the streets of LA. Then he created the organization to go against it. So the Dare program. So whatever gets them through the night, whatever makes them believe it. But like I said, my job is to inform you guys and give you guys the truth. So that's the truth of the situation. But now you know their narrative and what they're thinking on the other side. They actually believe that crap. He conned himself. How you gonna con yourself into getting in to see the president of the United States? That's not gonna happen. But whatever gets them through the night. But it just goes to show you the mind state and how real brainwashing really is and works. Television, they don't spend all this money for nothing running tests to see how they can control people's minds. People believe, one, brainwash works in a way of like hypnotism. You have to first want it. People have to want to believe it. If people want to believe it enough, oh, it'll happen. They want to believe it. All they need is a reason. So instead of saying, well, George Bush Sr., he lost touch with the community, That's the reason why when he went on television and didn't know how to scan a product across a scanner at a supermarket, and that cost him the election. They believe that. They believe that happened. That was the main reason he lost. That scared a lot of people, and that's how he lost the bill, really, because that scared white folks. They said, "Oh my God, he's lost the community." And you got to realize that the majority of the people that vote, a lot of them don't have a very high education level. You go down to places like West Virginia, Mississippi, it's not a lot of people out there that has a very high education that's out there voting. They've shown you that on the internet completely. They don't care what they do. They be, he's the right guy for me. He sound like me. He look like my Uncle Jeff. And I'm voting. Because he's going to lead this country to the promised land, like he said. Where's the promised land? Mississippi. these, these guys, man, I swear, you guys would be so surprised. Have all these other states that you don't even visit, how crazy they are, like Montana. You're like, damn, there is a state called Montana. Who lives there? So, well, we're done. I think we've done enough. Y'all have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button. I'm out.